Hey everybody, welcome to Raising Vibrations. You with Simon today, and in this video I'm going to be talking about a couple of things: Virgo, how to heal it, how to understand it, talking a little bit about the backdrop of what Virgo means in the birth chart, and transforming self-doubt, okay, and the process of how to see Virgo as a positive quality in the chart. So I was really inspired to feel like this was a video that needed to come out because I've recently gone through a very deep internal process around healing the Virgo archetype in my own personal life. Now, for me, I have both my Mars and my Venus in the constellation Virgo, and it has played a very big role in the way that I emotionally relate to myself. It's played a very big role in the reason why I do the work that I do, and it's also played a very interesting role in the sense that it showed me a lot about how I have internalized experiences growing up, and what types of effects those internalizations have caused in the way that I respond to reality, choice making, hearing people, and so on and so forth. So for you, everybody has Virgo in your chart somewhere. Okay, so the Virgo archetype is going to be alive whether you have planets there or not. Of course, if you have planets, this is something that's going to be more amplified in your life, but it doesn't mean that this is not something that you don't have, and so therefore, you don't have planets in Virgo, and so therefore you don't get affected by this, right? So, what is the Virgo archetype? Firstly, okay, the Virgo archetype is adjustment. Okay, it's necessary adjustment, and the way that this adjustment process works is manifested through crisis and psychological feelings of paralysis, or a feeling in which there is a sense of lack. Okay, and the evolutionary dynamic that the Virgo archetype is evolving from in terms of the context is this line over here that I've drawn on this picture. Okay, so there's the Virgo archetype, and there's the Aries archetype, and you see this green line. Now, to understand the context of this line, imagine that each constellation, okay, each sign has a relationship to all the other signs. Okay, so for instance, Scorpio would be in a complete opposition to Taurus. Scorpio would be in what is called an inconjunct to Gemini. So just as Aries is in opposition to Libra, Aries is inconjunct Virgo. Okay, green line, inconjunct. Okay, so the inconjunct aspect or angle is adjustment. Okay, each constellation, each sign has two signs that it relates to that is consistently adjusting it. Okay, so when we look at the relationship that Aries has to Virgo in terms of adjustment, we're looking at the process of a new evolutionary direction. Okay, a new sense of birthing process that is occurring for us in each moment. Okay, and its relationship to the process of adjustment and growth, okay, and getting better, okay, becoming more improved, Virgo. So by now, when we are looking at the energy archetype of evolution moving through signs, we're going Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo. So the context of this angle is always energy moving from there, developing that archetype, developing that archetype, developing that archetype, developing that archetype, developing that archetype. Okay, so we understand now what this angle means. We understand the process of new direction, and we understand the process of adjustment through crisis and the feeling of lack. Psychological paralysis. Okay, I'm not good enough. I need to be better. I can improve, and so on and so forth. Okay, so in each of us, wherever the constellation Virgo sits, this is where we are having necessary adjustments in our lives. Okay, we're bumping into things. We're trying new things out, Aries, and as we initiate new experiences, because this is very new to us, because this is something that we are fundamentally learning about, so the relationship to whatever it is that we're experiencing is still new for us, just as the baby is new to the world. You can't give it a trig or a calculus math paper to process just as it's come out the womb. The same concept would apply here. You don't give somebody the most difficult process of working in a kitchen, like the chefs, like the highest, like the position of the chef, right? You don't give somebody that's just started the first day on the job, that's there to kind of cut celery, as an example, to be doing the chef's work. It's just not something we do. And the reason why we don't do that is because the newness in relationship to something that has been there for a long period of time, or that has been understanding the process, Virgo process, okay, there is that divide, there's that time, that's evolutionary necessity, there's that growth, okay? Does everyone understand that? So the picture here that I'm illustrating to everybody to try to understand is that new direction and growth are consistently always in relationship to each other. So where you have Virgo in your chart, you're growing, you're getting through necessary adjustment, you're allowing yourself to become better at things, you're always bumping into things. And this is where we can tend to feel this deep, incredible sense of failure within inside of ourselves. Okay, so hold these two pictures in your mind's eye, and let's move over to the next slide. Okay, Virgo is the archetype with this picture over here with the guitar. We're tuning into something. We're adjusting something. We're trying to get the natural rhythm of the experience. Okay, so in life, we're naturally trying to get an attunement. Wherever Virgo's in the chart, we're bumping into things, we're trying it out, we're testing. So life is the continuous adjustment of internal relations to the external relations. In other words, we're always like doing something, we're observing it, we're experiencing it, we're coming back, we're checking within ourselves, we're adjusting our internal process, we're coming back out into the world again, and we keep doing this. Okay, so within ourselves, the right and healthy expression of the Virgo archetype within ourselves is adjustment and tuning, adjustment and tuning. Now, the reason why I choose the picture of the Karate Kid, and for any of you that haven't watched the Karate Kid films, the older ones, the original, you'll understand that these two characters, this is the master and this is the apprentice. Virgo is the apprentice, okay? Pisces is the master in this sense. And so in the constellations, Virgo opposes Pisces, Pisces opposes Virgo. And so what we have here is this natural process within ourselves in which when we do something new for the first time, when we begin a new journey, when we begin to tune into our specific destiny, our specific life, we go through this process of the apprentice to the master. We're learning how to become better at it. And the way that we do that is by bumping into things. The way that we do that is by acting in a certain way and then getting it wrong. And then observing what we got wrong, adjusting our inner process, tuning into our inner process, and then coming out and attempting it again. And it's this consistent process of allowing ourselves to adjust in accordance with how we're acting that we actually experience life and grow. And it's really fascinating to understand, because if I go back to the previous slide over here, in the natural zodiac, which is this 12 symbol wheel, the constellation Virgo makes a 90-degree angle to the constellation Sagittarius. And Sagittarius teaches us how we experience things, how we are able to develop our personal truth of something, our personal perspective of something. And the way that we understand knowledge and the way that we grow and expand our perception is through going through experiences in which we are nurturing our direction. We're nurturing our instinctual interactions with things. And the way that we nurture it is through the process of Virgo, which is internal adjustment, external expression, internal adjustment, and we keep on adjusting. Does everybody understand this process? Okay. So this is what Virgo is trying to do for us in our chart. It's trying to allow us to become more proficient, more cultivated in our ability to get and fine-tune what we are wanting to do. And that's why the archetype of criticism and the feeling of lack and the existential void, as it were, and the sense of I'm getting it wrong, I'm never going to get it right, the failure, all of these archetypal themes on an emotional level all correlates to the unhealthy expression of this Virgo archetype that has actually been manifested through a very deep internal human conditioning around the last 2,000 years, particularly with the actual precession of the equinoxes, as well as the age of the Pisces age, right? And again, Virgo is, very much part of that process. So we have been conditioned a lot through a very linear, left-orientated thinking, strategic-orientated way of processing our reality. And because we live in a very highly competitive world in which we're needing to get things right all the time in order for us to be correct in that sense, we have had many imprinting from our parents and from external situations in which there's this negative self-talk that has been developed. So like an example from my own life, with my Virgo playing out for me, I've experienced a lot of situations, especially growing up, where the schooling system was very much geared towards a very logical, linear, strategic, focus-orientated patterning, whereas my mind is designed for more peripheral and for more absorbing the environment around and not being focused, but being more, in a sense, open to everything and just absorbing, right? That's how my mind naturally operates. So the best way for me to learn is to actually learn through audio. And just a small example, when I moved to Sweden, I just spent a great deal of time in the schooling system over here while learning Swedish, just watching certain TV programs, going to class, and very much listening, actively listening and taking in. And for me, that was my natural way, but I would have such an internal dialogue of that's not correct and I shouldn't be doing that. And all of this dialogue was linked with my early life when I was going through school over there. And I realized that this had nothing to do with me. It wasn't me at all. The self-talk doesn't belong to me at all. It's just that the structure in which the schooling system was set up at that stage and was not compatible with my template. And that there's nothing wrong with myself and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that they're incompatible. And so therefore, because of that being the case, these internal judgments around not being good enough or worthy enough, etc., is something that I can release with inside of myself. Because what tends to happen with the Virgo archetype through this deep internal conditioning around man-made guilt of imperfection and I'm not good enough and I shouldn't try is failure. We forget that failure is a path to mastery. We're supposed to fail along the way to experience our things because it's our process of giving it a shot. It's trying. So failure should be our teacher, not our undertaker. Failure is delay, not defeat. It is a temporary detour, not a dead end. Failure is something we can avoid only by saying nothing, doing nothing, and being nothing. So the point here is that in this video particularly, and what I'm wanting to convey with everybody that's watching it, is that along the road, we've all attempted to do something magical with our lives. We've all attempted to, give our ability to follow through with a dream, and we've not maybe gotten whatever we wanted correct. And because maybe somewhere along the line somebody had said to us that we failed it and we shouldn't be attempting this, or that that we should give up, or anything that has stunted our feelings of thinking that failure is okay, every single time we get this opportunity to trust ourselves and jump into an experience that really and fully enriches our capacity to feel that we can be more authentic with ourselves, we get confronted with this underlying pattern of feeling that if we fail, well, firstly, we don't like that emotion. And secondly, the capacity for us to not want that emotion is so high that we don't even attempt it. And so hopefully this video today inspires you to feel that failure is a path to mastery. It should be embraced as a way of naturally feeling that life is here to be lived, and we should try. Because if we don't try and we don't fail, we won't be able to know how to make necessary adjustments. And when we don't make necessary adjustments, we don't cultivate our skill and capacity to understand what is the most efficient way to do something. What is the most, what is the best way for us to gain knowledge and wisdom through an experience? So just as the example I used earlier in the video, where I was suggesting that, or I was saying that somebody that walks into a kitchen, as an example, where it's his first day on the job, his desire is to become a chef, right? And his orientation around the kitchen, where everything goes, what's how do things operate there, is going to be very limited because it's his first day, Aries. But as he goes through experiences and gets things wrong and fails and goes through crises, you begin to learn and make necessary adjustments that allows you to become more confident and knowledgeable in your process, until 2 years later down the line, the guy feels completely comfortable. He's like, oh, okay, a situation arises, like, right, make sure we do this over here, and that goes over there. We don't do this type of food over here. And the reason why he's being able to be very confident in his ability to make decisions in a way that's healthy is because he feels confident in himself. But if along the way he felt that his failures were something wrong with him, and he internalized that process and felt that this is what was actually going on, he would have never been able to have the opportunity to really succeed in an environment. And I feel that today's video is about encouraging us to challenge ourselves to go, I'm going to do something, and even if it fails, I did it because I gained the experience that I can share. Okay? All right, everybody, have a fantastic week. Really hope you enjoyed this video. I'd love to hear your comments down below. And until then, have a fantastic week. Take care. Bye-bye.